Hello world, this is Bible Time Kapsule, I'm Citizen. This is the reading for September 30th, 2013. We are in chapter 33 of Numbers. Let's begin then. Chapter 33. Stages on the journey. The following are the stages by which the Israelites journeyed up by companies from the land of Egypt under the guidance of Moses and Aaron. By the Lord's command, Moses recorded the starting places of the various stages. The starting places of the successive stages were: they set out from Ramses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month. On the Passover morrow, the Israelites went forth in triumph in view of all Egypt, while the Egyptians buried their firstborn, all of whom the Lord had struck down. On their gods, too, the Lord executed judgments. Next section. From Egypt to Sinai. Setting out from Ramesses, the Israelites camped at Succoth. Setting out from Succoth, they camped at Etham, near the edge of the desert. Setting out from Etham, they turned back to Fihahiroth, which is opposite of Baal Saphon, and they camped outside of Magdol. Setting out from Fihahiroth, they crossed over through the desert through the sea into the desert, and after 3 days' journey in the desert of Etham, they camped in Marah. Setting out from Marah, they came to Elim, where there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees, and they camped there. Setting out from Elim, they camped beside the Red Sea. Setting out from the Red Sea, they camped in the desert of Sin. Setting out from the desert of Sin, they camped at Dephka, Dephca. Setting out from Dephka, they camped at Alus. Setting out from Alus, they camped at Raphidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. Setting out from Raphidim, they camped in the desert of Sinai. Next section. From Sinai to Kadesh. Setting out from the desert of Sinai, they camped at Sibroth Hatha'ava. Setting out from Sibroth Hatha'ava, they camped at Hazeroth. Setting out from Hazeroth, they camped at Rethma. Setting out from Rethma, they camped at Ramon Phares. Setting out from Ramon Phares, they camped at Lebna. Setting out from Lebna, they camped at Ressa with 2 S's. Setting out from Ressa with 2 S's, they camped at Se'elatha with 2 E's, Ceelatha. Setting out from Se'elatha, they camped at Mount Sephir. Setting out from Mount Sephir, they camped at Haratha. Setting out from Haratha, they camped at Mesiloth. Setting out from Mesiloth, they camped at Thahath. Setting out from Thahath, they camped at Thari. Setting out from Thari, they camped at Methka. Setting out from Methka, they camped at Hesmona. Setting out from Hesmona, dash is written. Maybe you can't see it. Anyway, next section. From Mount Hor to Asion Gaber. They camped at Meseroth. Setting out from Meseroth, they camped at Bene Ja'akan. Setting out from Bene Ja'akan, they camped at Mount Gadgad. Setting out from Mount Gadgad, they camped at Jedabatha. Setting out from Jedabatha, they camped at Hebrona. Setting out from Hebrona, they camped at Asion Gaber. Setting out from Asion Gaber, another dash, next section, from Kadesh to Mount Hor. They camped in the desert of Sin at Kadesh. Setting out from Kadesh, they camped at Mount Hor on the border of the land of Edom. Aaron ascended Mount Hor in the Lord's command, and there he died in his 40th year from the departure of the Israelites from the land of Egypt on the first day of the 5th month. Aaron was 123 years old when he died on Mount Hor. Now, when the Chananite king of Arad, who lived in the Negeb in the land of Chanaan, heard that the Israelites were coming, setting out from Mount Hor, see, it's right here. Alright, just so you get a feel for the rhythm. From Asion Gaber to the plains of Moab is the next section. They camped at Salmona. Setting out from Salmona, they camped at Finon. Setting out from Finon, they camped at Oboth. Setting out from Oboth, they camped at Ijeabarim on the border of Moab. Setting out from Ijeabarim, they camped at Dibon Gad. Setting out from Dibon Gad, they camped at Helmon Deblathaim. Setting out from Helmon Deblathaim, they camped at Abarim Mountains opposite Nebo. Setting out from Abarim Mountains, they camped on the plains of Moab along the Jericho stretch of the Jordan. There, camped along the Jordan on the plains of Moab, extended from Beth Jeshimoth to Abel Satim. Next section. Conquest and division of Chanaan. The Lord spoke to Moses on the plain of Moab beside the Jericho stretch of the Jordan and said to him, "Tell the Israelites, when you go across the Jordan in the land of Chanaan, drive out all the inhabitants of the land before you, destroy all their stone figures and molten images, and demolish all their high places. You shall take possession of the land and settle in it, for I have given you the land as your property. You shall apportion the land among yourselves by lot, clan by clan, assigning a larger heritage to a larger group and a small heritage to a small group. Wherever anyone's lot falls, there shall his property be within the heritage of his ancestral tribe. But if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land before you, those whom you allow to remain will become as barbs in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and they will harass you in the country where you live, and I will treat you as I intended to treat them." It's the end of chapter 33 of Bible Time Capsule Numbers. I'm Citizen. Peace.